Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, credit where credit is due. Recently, Anwar Ibrahim, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, made an official visit to China to urge them to resuscitate the Belt and Road Initiative, and he secured an investment deal with the Chinese totaling around $40 billion. And the Chinese have expressed their receptivity to the idea of having Malaysian citizens be prioritized for the hiring to work at Chinese companies in Malaysia. This is a very good thing. And in a sort of reciprocal move, Anwar said that he is open to facilitating negotiations between China and ASEAN for developing a code of conduct for the South China Sea. Furthermore, Anwar has stated that he supports de-dollarization for Malaysia and that countries in the region should begin trading in their own currencies. All of this is undoubtedly positive, and I will concede it's not what I expected. Not long ago, I made a video in which I mentioned a list of things that you should look for to see if Anwar's government is doing them. Then it would indicate that Anwar is simply obeying and following the American agenda for Southeast Asia, since after all, a good portion of his political career has been funded by the National Endowment for Democracy. And one of the things that I mentioned was that if you see the government restricting Chinese investment in Malaysia, then that would indicate that they're following the American agenda. Well, clearly he's not doing that, and I really welcome the news that we've gotten over the past few days. Now, I will say that Anwar's support for de-dollarization sort of confirms to me that the owners and controllers of global financialized capital are in favor of transitioning out of a dollar-based global reserve currency. And I do remain cautious about Anwar because of, again, his affiliations with the National Endowment for Democracy and the United States, and because I have heard that he is also setting up meetings with the IMF, although this information is unconfirmed. I mean, granted, Malaysia is in a very sensitive position with regards to the United States and with regards to China, and any government is going to have to very carefully balance the competing interests of China and the United States against their own national interests. And undoubtedly, concessions will have to be made, trade-offs will have to be made towards China and towards the United States as Malaysia tries to build its economic and political sovereignty in order to be able to move with true independence into the future. I mean, Malaysia doesn't have a gargantuan sovereign wealth fund like the UAE or Qatar or Saudi Arabia, nor do they have sufficient oil production to enable them to sort of throw their weight around in defiance of the United States. So yeah, it's a bit of a tightrope walk for any government in Malaysia in order to be able to extricate themselves from the Western-dominated global system. But all in all, this is very positive news, and unless the devil is in the details, I think everyone should be supportive of these moves. Jazakumullahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum.